Dissidia is finally out, and the reviews have been okay. Now, this raises the question about what exactly makes a game good, or why exactly do we play the games? Do we play games for their core gameplay, or do we play games for their meta gameplay? Now, when I say meta, I'm not talking about the competitive meta, which is the team composition or character builds. More like the built-in mechanics a game has that gets you to play the game's core gameplay. The most famous example of this is Call of Duty 4's progression system, which basically ruined all multiplayer forever because now everyone just had to be that. But we can go back to earlier than that. Let's say Halo 2, which was like the big console online multiplayer game. And that game had like no meta to it at all. It was just you and a couple other dudes on a map that was always the same every time. But people kept playing it. And then they played it in 3. And then they played it in Reach. Not because that there was like some new skin to unlock, but because it had the OG metagame. It was just really fun to play and people wanted to play it. This is why games like Overwatch have been successful. Even though the game's built-in metagame of getting loot boxes for cosmetic skins, necessitated by the fact that it has to be cosmetic, is kind of bad because you can just buy the loot boxes, but people are still playing it because its core gameplay is really good. The core gameplay of shooting guys. Ubisoft still makes a ton of money, even if all their games have the exact same meta, which is a big map full of things to do, but people still like doing those things, where it be shooting guys from behind cover, shooting guys in a car, or just stabbing guys. And with Assassin's Creed Origins, they added RPG elements, which now add stat progression to such things, and now that apparently worked out for them too. See, when you get a game, are you really getting like a progression bar, or are you getting the actual act of playing it? I mean, Super Mario Odyssey, that game is how Mario moves. The metagame is just all the things you do to get moons. And everyone seems to love that. I mean, I'd probably love it too, I just don't have a Switch. When you get a regular Final Fantasy, you're getting that battle system. Are you playing it for that battle system, or are you playing it for the world that you're exploring? I mean, look at all sports games. Every time the sport is exactly the same, yet people still buy it because I guess they just like playing that one game mode over and over again. Even if the built-in meta is not that great for me. Yeah, sure, you're switching out players, but they're still all just humans. There's no real way to make these two-team sports matches very interesting. Oh, hey, Pyre. For Dissidia, am I getting this game to unlock chat boxes and skins, or am I getting this game for 3v3 bravery number-based battles? Let's go back to even the first couple Dissidia games. Was I playing this for a one-on-one arena fighter? Yes. Was I playing it for RPG mechanics? Those were nice to have there, but in a competitive space, those don't work very well. So it makes sense why they'd take them out. Plus, with the addition of all the EX skills and the fact that all the characters are even more distinct than usual, there's that team comp meta that's there. I'm not playing that game to just unlock treasure boxes or Memoria. I'm playing it because playing it is fun. The particle effects are nice. The UI is a bit daunting, but it makes sense after a while. There are those network issues, but I can only imagine that those can be fixed, because for every slow game I have, I get 3 games that run perfectly fine, so it's clearly possible for the netcode to be good. Of course, since it's a fighting game, it gets a lot of flack because the core gameplay of fighting games is essentially the same every time. This is why people had problems with Street Fighter V. Because of Street Fighter V, there wasn't really any built-in meta around its core game. There wasn't like an arcade mode, I don't believe, or a story mode. It was one of those things. Something that kept people around. This is why Injustice 2 got so popular, because of the gear system. Having that built-in metagame that will keep people from playing and thus get their skills better. I think the Lizard said with Hearthstone, after people complained that they weren't getting rewarded enough, that they said that playing the game itself was the reward. And yeah, these are video games. They're supposed to be pleasurable. Seems weird that our pleasure is not pleasurable, because it's not pleasuring us enough. All I'm saying is, if playing it feels good, then just keep playing it until it's not good. Then stop playing it. It's not a difficult thing to do. There are other games coming out. If I ever get bored of Dissidia, I'll probably switch to fighters once I have money to buy fighters. And once I get bored of fighters, I'll probably have Injustice 2 by then, so I'll play that. And once I get bored of Injustice 2, I'll probably play... I don't know, what's next? Probably not Cross Tag Battle.